didn't go for a week. What it means is the 3 pounds of meat I was getting a day meant I was digesting all of it. It wasn't backing up in my system. I wasn't bloating. I didn't put on weight. My waistline didn't change. So what that means is I've actually had to increase my caloric intake to at least 4,000 calories a day, because 3,000 calories a day, or 3 pounds of meat, or the European 3, basically means that I was absorbing 100% of it. There was nothing going to waste. It's actually good news. It sounds bad. I didn't go poop for a week, but the reality is it was actually really good. I've had this happen before, once years ago when I was seeing a doctor for some weight loss, and the reality was I didn't go for months at a time, unless I took a laxative. Once a week I would do that before my weigh-in, and this is just how that works when you're absorbing all the food that you're ingesting. So I'll try and find a way to post a link to Dr. Ken Berry. He's a doctor who coincidentally just put out a video this week about this exact topic. My goal is to increase my metabolic rate. So it means I have to feed myself enough fuel to put on the muscle and bone density that I need. So 3 pounds wasn't cutting it. So minimum 4. I'm probably gonna make sure to try and get at least 5 pounds on my squat days and my deadlift days. So if I do a 15-minute interval exercise with squats or deadlifts as the focus, I'm gonna make sure to get 5 pounds, because that's a lot of calories to burn in those 15 minutes. A lot of muscles getting involved in those exercises, every muscle. So squats and deadlifts are in my routine, but they're not every day. Some days are a little heavier on chest, some days are a little heavier on back. But I think as I go along with this, I'm going to turn one of my days every week or every day into a squat day or a deadlift day, plus other exercises. Just because I find I get my heart rate up a little faster doing those, and I feel like I'm getting more to my workout. So I feel it more 3 to 5 minutes in versus 7 to 8 minutes in. I want to be sweating 3 to 5 minutes into the exercise and kind of puffing a little bit. So squats will do that to you, so will deadlifts. So one of the best exercises you can do, I think, pound for pound, is a squat. So deadlift, close second. Everything else, down the line. My workouts went well for the first week. I missed the day, but I made up for it the next day. Yeah, it's been good. I honestly wish they were like 20 minutes, but I think 15 minutes is doable. The nice thing about a 15-minute workout is I don't have to wake up any earlier to get a 15-minute workout in. Just when it starts to feel like you're really kind of giving it, there's a few minutes left. So it's nice. So it's a very manageable time frame, and that's the goal of this, to see how much I can accomplish with, really, that's a moderate level of exercise in duration, but the intensity itself is pretty high up there though. So it's a good balance. HIIT workouts are the way to go, in my opinion, especially if you incorporate weight resistance. It keeps your heart rate up, and I've had wonderful success with that in the past. I don't find the schedule difficult to get my workout. You know, I'm up pretty early in the day, so I can get up at 6 o'clock and still do a workout, and not a big issue. If I have to do it in the middle or the end of the day, it's not a big issue. It's only 15 minutes. So it's very rewarding that way. Oh man, did my sleep suck the first week. I was getting 5 hours a night. There's something about when I go on a all beef diet, I just for some reason end up with 5-6 hours sleep a night at best. And this first week was rough. Wow. 5 hours. I felt refreshed when I woke up. I felt great all through the day. My eyes would start to get a little blurry later at the night, by about like 11 o'clock, because I just wasn't tired. I'd fall asleep around midnight. I'd be up by 5:30, very restless. Really every 45 minutes, honestly. It was, couldn't have been every hour or two, because I easily woke up every half hour to 45 minutes. So yeah, that was not fun. And then all of a sudden it's like it broke. And by the end of it, the last 2 or 3 nights, this is Saturday night I'm recording this, So the last 2 or 3 nights I've been getting 6-7 hours sleep. Last night I got a lot of sleep. I actually slept till 8 in the morning. Sleep, that's the kind of rest I want to get while I'm doing this. The body needs that rest. Otherwise you stress yourself out, you stress your body out, and it screws with your metabolism, it screws with your hormones, it screws with your immune system. It screws with your immune system. You want to make sure that you are always well rested. You work out too hard, you screw with your immune system. You don't get enough sleep, you screw with your immune system. You have too much stress in your life, you're not managing well, you screw with your immune system. We all have stress. All of us. I tell this to my patients all the time. We all have stress. It's when we don't manage it well that becomes an issue. So we want to make sure that we're managing our stress well. So let's talk about metabolic syndrome. Now I have a little list here I'm going to go off of. Metabolic syndrome is, there's key things to worry about. You have to be diagnosed with apparently 3 of the 5 issues with metabolic syndrome, which are high blood pressure, high triglycerides, high blood sugar, low HDL, and increased waist circumference. It took a few days, about a week into my challenge before I could get my blood work done, and most of my numbers were pretty good. My overall cholesterol is high. I knew that. It's always been high. The LDL is definitely on the high side, but apparently that's what happens when you go to a low or zero carb diet and you start losing weight. But going to just red meat, my inflammation is dramatically better as far as my joints feel. So when we go through my blood pressure, last I got it checked last week, it was 128/80. My triglycerides were actually really good. They're 0.92. So anything below, I think 150 is excellent. And high blood sugar, 5. I'm always at 5. 5 is great. My HDL is 1.08. So it's low end good, but it's good. Now, all this exercise is a great way to combat low HDL. Even though I'm low end good, I'm still in the good area. And I want to actually increase that to, 1.5, 2, if I can. Now, the only one of the 5 factors I still have for metabolic syndrome is an increased waist circumference around the stomach, right? So it's the inches, not pounds, that I was talking about all this time. So now that's been going down steadily. So all my numbers are good now. Instead of having all 5, I now have 1 of the 5. Now, because I have a history of heart problems, which we'll get into in a later video when I get into my health history, that's something that is still an issue. We can't take that lightly, but it's going in the right direction. I only have 1 of the 5 now. So the rest have been managed over the last year, actually the last few years, but definitely the last year. We've seen more consistent numbers, right? I was yo-yoing before that, which once again, I'll get into in another video. So when I ordered my cow, my half cow, I guess I forgot to ask them to take the fat and put it to the side so I could render it down for later use. So they put it in the ground beef, and because I asked for a fattier cow, my ground beef is the equivalent of regular ground beef. So it's on the fatty side. So boy, do the flames get big on the barbecue when I'm cooking my burgers. But instead of just getting 1 pound packs of ground beef, and then I just fry it in a pan, this time I asked for 1 pound packs of burgers, and each patty is a 1/4 pounder. The burgers shrink quite a bit because they're so fatty, but the flavor is great. It sucks. I was hoping for something leaner. There was just a misunderstanding, or maybe I forgot to ask them to put some of the fat to the side so the ground beef would be more on the lean side. But either way, I had a bunch today. They taste great. I just put some salt on them when I was barbecuing. Ooh la la.